how is in-camera VFX virtual production being used today? So let's take a look at some examples. I was not on this, but this is the Batman. This is a very good use of this technology. You can see they have practical set, and then behind them is the LED wall. If you actually, let me see, I can pause a little bit here and there. So this is actually them doing plates for driving. So if you take a look at the LED wall, you can see it's, you know, here's the seam of it. This is all LED wall. We have a guy, you know, Batman on the motorcycle over here, and we have a little bit of blue screen probably capturing something. This might even be for reflections, and they might actually be just filming the blue screen.
Is it better to have a curved LED screen, Ian?
So the reason, yeah, that's a long thing, because it depends upon what you're filming and what your plans are. Generally, having a little bit of a curve in a screen is a good idea, because of the fact that you're going to be able to get more width out of it. You're going to be able to, you know, you're going to have these edges that kind of flare out, and that gives you the ability to kind of, you know, excuse me, not just go off the wall. But if you have too much of a curve too quickly, you run into this issue that when you back up, part of the wall is actually further away from you than other parts of the wall. And if you're looking at something that's supposed to be, you know, at a certain distance virtually, you start to run into artifacts in depth of field that you might not notice, but you're adding more real depth of field for something that should be at, you know, there's certain use cases that really lend itself to having a flat screen, but most people use curved screens. I think it's good. You just got to have a subtle curve and think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was, I'm not sure what render engine they used. So this is their LED wall setup.
Wow.
So big.
Yeah, just take a look at that for a second. So that's, if I had to spec something out like that, I'd probably say like $13 million. Like
that's a lot of money.
If you're building it from scratch, maybe. I mean, maybe like 8 to 12, I would assume. But yeah, so that's not what we're going to be doing in the commercial market. But another really good example of in-camera VFX virtual production is the Mandalorian. So this is a series that was shot, multiple episodes of each of their series were shot in the volume. So using the blend of the real props and the virtual backgrounds. There's some cool shots, and you can see the reflections and everything like that just line up really well. So if we actually take a look at this shot, this is a great blend. So that right there is where the LED wall seam most likely is. It may not be that curved because of however they have it set up here. So that means that everything that's behind our talent here, that's all virtual.
Okay,
so
you
this
can put
is
whatever you want there. It's incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and you when you do this and you build a small, you build a team to do this, you start to figure out the ways to do it effectively, do it quickly. But it's that hurdle, that first hurdle that a lot of companies and people that try to adopt this run into, is the fact that they need to get the experience in it before they start day one of offering it to clients. And that doesn't take too much, that takes 2, demo projects or something. But it's always tough when, especially if you already have a huge clientele, you're going to want to get them in as fast as possible to get money back on your investment, on whatever you've invested into that space or your crew. So we looked at some big movies, some big budget movies that Hollywood, and they looked fantastic. So let's take a look at the commercial world. How is this being used in the commercial space? So the first couple videos I'm going to show are actually ones that I was virtual production supervisor for, and I ran remotely. So there was a small crew that we had on site, and they were Pierdo This was in Peru, actually.
Oh,
really?
wow.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so all of these were filmed in Peru with, I'm spacing on their name, but we'll be able to find them. We'll put a link somewhere. But yeah, so these were fairly small crews, and we would literally get in there, and prop department would run in and start dressing the set, and then I'll let this play, and we'll talk about it in a second here. So, you know, your standard beverage commercial. So let's just take a look at this shot here. So you probably, I'm hoping everybody on here was already trying to guess what is virtual and what is not.
Yeah.
So that's where our LED wall seam is, right there.
Okay.
And then that is all virtual. So these props right here, circled in red, I probably could have made that red a little bigger, but that's all the physical props. And then we just kind of set them in a way that makes sense with the virtual world. I actually remember on this call, on the left here, on this table and this table over here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse on there.
Yeah,
left,
we can see it.
But originally this table was in the same physical space as this table. And I was like, you got to move that table over. I said, you can't, it's going to look like it's in the same spot. Like, you have to do it. So we can take a look at another one here. So let me just let this roll. We're going to have a few of these. Everybody will get the point by the end. So that our LED wall is actually underneath, you know, below the couch, because it's best to just block it. If you can block the seam between where your physical and your virtual meets, you can sell it so much easier. So everything back there in the blue is virtual. The hallway, everything.
So if you use a green screen, will be quite a big difference between the two techniques, right?
Yeah, so the main difference between, it's funny that you say that, because that shot that you just saw right here, it's coming. But the shot right here, we actually turned the inner frustum, what the camera was seeing, into a green screen so that they could composite over it. So if you watch when he sits down and we go like this, all we did was we turned the background into green screen, and then they could just composite it however they wanted. But the main difference is that there's limitations to both. With green screen, you're not going to be able to get lens optics. You're not going to get proper lens optics unless you're like Disney. You're not going to get all of the characteristics of your camera, and you're also going to have to do a lot in post. You're going to have to go into post and build your backgrounds and things like that. And a lot of creatives are starting to really enjoy doing this, because this is all in camera. Like, we walked away and this was just editing and color grading. So there was no, you know what I mean? Besides graphics, there's no post effects here.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's going to be cheaper one day, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, it depends upon how you're doing it. It's like, if you're already doing these types of commercial productions consistently, then maybe it does make sense for you to open up a studio and figure out what that means, or make a relationship with, here's a behind the scenes of another commercial that I shot with the same crew, and here's another behind the scenes of a different, same cola, different commercial. So you can see what the camera sees. They actually put some props in front of the lens here, which is great. And then this is all virtual back here behind here. And then we had a ceiling, which made it so that when you looked at the top of the car, the reflections on the car, you could see this tree just hanging over the car, and it looked really good.
Okay, Ian,
that was a good one. I wish I could find that. Go ahead.
Ian, we have 3 questions. I think, Stephanie, if you can help us with some.
All right, I'll just let this play while I answer.
The first one is Ryan Paz, and he's asking, what do you foresee as the next development in virtual production hardware solutions? Revolutionary tracking methods, better LED pixel manufacturing, new cameras?
I think all of them at the same time, because everybody's working on exactly that. Everybody's trying to make it easier and more precise. So you're going to have, I mean, AI tracking systems might become a thing very soon. If the problem is the delay. We're dealing with real time is a special beast because you need to kind of almost defy physics to be able to do it right. So to get it perfect, you would have to be able to move the camera and it know that the camera's moving before you actually move the camera, so you can beat whatever delay you have. So definitely better tracking systems that are going to be able to handle that. Or, you know, if you use a robot or something like that, you may be able to even get better results than you could with the tracking system. So there's always a tool to do certain jobs. And then, yes, better LED pixels. I mean, it's literally like 1.9 is 1. So the LED walls their resolution is judged by pixel pitch. So that means how much space there is between each pixel of the LED wall. And this one that we're looking at right now on screen, I believe was like a 2.6 pixel pitch. So that's 2.6 millimeters, I think, in between the pixels. And it is not super high resolution, where now a lot of the LEDs that are going into smaller studios that are doing commercial work like this are 1.9, which is so much smaller. And you're talking about a less than 4K giant TV screen compared to a like 6K giant TV screen that takes up the same amount of space and is the same size and aspect ratio. But yeah, I think that I have no idea. AI might make us irrelevant if it gets good enough. So who knows? Let's just keep rolling.
Okay, great.
All right, so this is one I'm super proud of this shot. So if you take a look at where this is another commercial that we did for Easy Pay. If you took a look at, that's where the seam was. So that means that everything behind there is virtual. I loved this because I had about 3 hours to relight this scene with the camera set up. So we actually had a stand-in camera. So we set a lot of lights and things like that. But once you have the camera set up, that's when you really know what you're looking at. You can build pipelines to be able to try and predict what it's going to look like on production. But putting a camera up and having access to a pre-light day or multiple pre-light days is going to be important. So I'll show you another one here. This one's really good because the girl in the background and the 3D printer back there are real, and then mostly everything else is not. So our wall seam is actually below him, so you don't see it. We've cut it off, have a little bit of headroom. So all of that is virtual. Even the signs in the background. This is a behind the scenes. This was actually the first time that we shot this environment on a different commercial. So this lighting is a little less clean and the environment wasn't fully done, but it was the only behind the scenes I had. So let's take a look at something that's a little more like high-end fashion brand. So this is the MCM shoot that I talked about earlier, that kind of I showed up and realized that we had a huge gap between what virtual production was at that time, but we pulled it off. You know what I mean? This is exactly to their brand. This is what they wanted. Like 90% of that was all in-camera VFX. So we also did Louis Vuitton. So this is Louis Vuitton watches. We did sunglasses as well. This is all plates. So this is just video playback of sequences on the LED wall and very clever filming. So
wow.
I'll pause.
Oh, Ian, we have another question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Paul Lee. He says, what's the challenge of using motion and dynamic characters as background in a virtual set to support live shooting?
You can't focus on them.
Okay.
So with in-camera VFX, what I'm gonna talk about in a little bit, I have a little diagram that just kind of shows you an overview of a stage, and I'm just gonna point some things out so that if anybody on here does a virtual production, they kind of have a short quick roadmap of things that not to do. And but yeah, so really I'm doing a huge pipeline right now for the show that I'm working on, that we're doing virtual background actors, and we have stunts meetings, and we're going through and going, okay, well, there's going to be a bad guy over there and he gets shot. And so all of the people in the background are going to be virtual, and you have to plan that out. If you saw the, but for actual trying to replace filming, I think we have a while until it's perfect. And sadly, yeah, we have a while until it's going to be perfect. But I mean, I'm hoping for the best there. It's like who knows? I mean, I'm the most analog person in probably this industry in so many ways, because I love classic filmmaking. I love filmmaking with lens and with people and showing that character. And I also really like animation and things like that. And anime has been a huge part of my life, and storytelling in that way. But there's this weird middle ground where you can't quite get a character to feel real, but you have to make them so that they're not trying to feel real, so that you can still attach emotion to them. You can still have them tell your story without it trying to be. But there's tons of shows and movies now that are proving to be, extremely entertaining, as well as great storytelling and graphics. So I wanted to pause at this shot real quick. So this is that's actually the LED wall with playing like a stars background on the side there. And then to the right there is mirrors that are reflecting it. So you can get creative with how you do it, which you can't do that with the green screen.
Sure.
Like that's impossible. So that one had a lot of water. And so within camera VFX, you get reflections. So this is now we're moving to the music video space. I was a virtual production supervisor for this. And right behind that drummer is the virtual background. So literally his platform, we color got it so that it matched. This is another environment. So if we take a look at this is like a gas station. And then you see the wet down there. There's where our LED wall scene is. So that's where the practical, and so that's all virtual. So these lights that you see here, those ones are physical, and then the ones in the background are virtual. I definitely would have liked to dial that in more, but with music videos, sometimes it's really fast paced. That's why it's good to, get somebody involved that either has experience or can guide your production with experience until you can build a small internal crew that continues on that experience. All of those commercials that I shot before, we built a very quick system where they had 2 level artists that just built these environments, and then they knew how to install the VP Toolkit plugin into it and set up their shots and get them approved by production and make sure everybody's happy with what they're going to be. And then since they used that system, I would come in on the day and everything would be set up and ready to go. So, you know what I mean? They didn't need me to do all that because they had already done it. And then all we had to do is load it up and load up all of the things. So this is probably, this is the team that I'm most proud of, because we recreated the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, could the background be a little better? Yes, we could have built the city a little better. But this was a huge prop build. And I personally blended a lot of the assets and relit the scene based on what the cinematographer wanted, because originally this scene was actually supposed to be like cloudy and things like that. And then as soon as we got on it, he had tungsten lights. So we're like, well, we got to go, we got to go sunset. So I matched the sun position and all of, how his lighting was virtually, so that it made sense. There's actually for people that know Unreal Engine, there's an extra spotlight hitting that back bridge, so that we got that orange with the shadows, because we just weren't getting it with what is called our directional light, which is our sun, our virtual sun. So sometimes you have to add in some lights and things like that to just motivate your scene and stylize it and make sure that it looks good, because that's the most important thing in the end, is that it blends correctly. So this is where
all that modeling and lighting and texturing, you outsource that, or you do it yourself, or do you have a team to do it?
So most of the time I have a team to do it. I do a lot of dialing in and fine tuning at the end. So it's a lot of building what's called texture parameters. So parameters within the assets that we can tweak, like subtle things of like color and brightness, and just so that when we see it through a camera lens, because the problem is that every time a director of photography changes, or or gaffer, or whoever you want to say is changing your light, changes your value, it changes the saturation, the gamma value, all of that of a physical prop. So to be able to get it to blend and actually like not appear as sticking out, you need to be able to get into the base of that. You can't do it all in lighting. You can't do it all you can't use color correction. That doesn't work at all. You need to do it in the assets, because that's what that's what you have control over. You basically are repainting them so that they look correct through the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.